Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa. We are an airline that has continued to stand the test of time. Our desire is to take our company to greater heights and thus give our clients the best of service. From humble beginnings, we have relentlessly worked hard, and the results have not gone unnoticed. We pride ourselves for the massive growth that our airline has registered over the past few years. Recently, we were honored at the African Investor Awards and declared the Business Airline of the Year in Africa.
If you also look at our own net profit after tax, we've hit a figure of 3.5 billion, which is 74% ahead of same time last year. And this is very commendable. I'd like to say to all the staff that is very, very appreciated in terms of the input. And I think we should keep it up.
Kenya Airways is one of the 3 leading sub-Saharan airline operators, and it provides comprehensive air services to several destinations throughout Africa, Europe, the Middle East, the Far East, as well as India. Being a member of the SkyTeam Alliance, Kenya Airways also has access to any destination in the world. We are proudly African. We take pride for being at the forefront in connecting the African continent to the world, as well as connecting the world to Africa. KQ is currently a public-private business, having been privatized in 1996. KLM is the largest shareholder, owning 26% of the shares. The government of Kenya has a 23% stake, while the remaining 51% is held by private owners, with shares being traded at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, as well as the Ugandan Securities Exchange. Tanzanian carrier Precision Air is a subsidiary of Kenya Airways with a 41.23% stake held by Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways operates a worldwide scheduled passenger and cargo service to a myriad of destinations around the world. Route expansion has remained to be part of our key objectives. We recently launched Ouagadougou and Jeddah route, thereby bringing our destinations to 56. The last 10 years have seen the airline undergo a major milestone. Some of the factors key in this growth include the company's turnover, fleet size, destinations, as well as human capital.
The company has grown in leaps and bounds over the last 10 years. We've had a very successful growth over the last 10 years. But as we cast our eyes into the future, we believe that this is the right time. We believe that the growth into the future will even be more aggressive than what we have achieved in the past.
The East African market welcomed Toyota when a regional office was opened in Kenya in 1962, and the first Toyota car was introduced to the market in 1964. As a sole distributor of Toyota cars, Toyota East Africa Limited was established in 1999. In 2011, Toyota East Africa changed its name to Toyota Kenya Limited to concentrate its business on the local Kenyan market. Toyota Kenya is the sole distributor of Toyota, Yamaha and Hino brands in Kenya. Over the years, Toyota Kenya has grown and developed to be one of the leading automotive companies in East Africa's largest economy. At our main facility in Nairobi along Uhuru Highway, we have an elegant showroom that is attractive, customer-friendly, spacious and can accommodate our full modern lineup in the display area. The success of Toyota is achieved through quality, durability and reliability. Our complete built vehicles are imported from Japan and South Africa, and we also have some models which are locally assembled, such as the Land Cruiser pickup. At Toyota, we are proud of our customer-first culture. Each vehicle is handled with care by qualified and highly skilled professionals during scheduled maintenance or when addressing a repair concern. Toyota Genuine Parts extend the life of your vehicle and reduce the possibility of failure on the road, guaranteeing a safer driving experience. They are available at our parts center in branches and dealer networks throughout the country. Our body care centers have highly skilled technicians and modern equipment as well to professionally restore the vehicle to its pre-damage condition. Lately, motorbike transportation has experienced rapid growth in Kenya, Yamaha has always been reliable in assembling new units for sale and supporting the bikes through service, repair, as well as availing genuine replacement parts. To understand our customers better, we engage them to gain feedback and input from their perspective. This greatly helps us to learn new ways of continuously improving our service delivery. The Toyota Training Center has instructors who are trained in the latest technology and qualified by our manufacturer, the Toyota Motor Corporation. The center provides our technicians with all the sophisticated technology and also offer apprentice programs as well. Toyota Kenya has a footprint throughout the country with branches in Mombasa, Eldoret, Westlands, Kirinyaga Road here in Nairobi, Kisumu and Lodwar. Our Mombasa branch serves the coastal region and its environs with sales, service, parts and body care of both Toyota vehicles and Yamaha motorbikes as well. Within the Nairobi region, we opened our second facility on Waiyaki Way in Westlands in 2011 to cater for our customers in the western end of Nairobi and its environs. Toyota Kenya also has authorized dealers in Nakuru, Nanyuki, Kericho, Nyeri and Kitale, where customers can get the same high standard of Toyota services. Toyota Tsusho Corporation is a member of the Toyota Group. It's a trading company that markets automobiles, trucks, steel products, industrial machinery, chemical products, energy, among other commodities in both domestic and overseas markets. Toyota Tsusho East Africa Limited officially opened in January 2013 and it is owned by Toyota Tsusho Corporation. It was founded as a trading and investment company with the Toyota Group and is a multi-business enterprise operating in the areas of mobility, life and community, and earth and resources. Years of wisdom, 40 years of strength, 4 decades of great contribution to the Kenyan economy, years of success in the global economy as well. Indeed, for these 4 decades, we have been leaders in the reinsurance industry offering world-class services. Kenya Re is who we are, with strength and wisdom beyond borders. Our core values remain as integrity, learning and innovation, a strong service culture, objectivity, teamwork, and good corporate citizenship. These are values that have always kept us ahead of other reinsurance firms.
Kenya Re is 41 years old. That age alone is a milestone to mark. We have survived for 40 years, but we'll never forget the core mandates for which the corporation was created. Preservation of foreign exchange through retention of reinsurance business in Kenya, the creation of a pool of skilled and trained insurance professionals for the Kenyan economy, creation of employment, and participation in national economic development.
Kenya Re carries out its reinsurance business in Africa, the Middle East and Asia, serving over 170 companies in over 47 countries. It was established in 1970 through an act of the Kenyan Parliament and started operations in 1971. It's rated B+ by AM Best Rating Agency for domestic claims paying ability. It's also rated AA by Global Credit Rating of South Africa and is ISO 9001-2008 certified. 60% of its equity is owned by the government, with the rest held by the public through the Nairobi Securities Exchange. As at the end of 2011, the total asset base was over 21 billion shillings. Kenya Re offers plenty of products ranging from the traditional non-life products like fire, accidents, liability, motor and life classes. We also recognize the changing needs of our clients and therefore we also provide solutions to emerging risks like cyber and terrorism cover. Kenya Re also covers political and agricultural risks. The company has also positioned itself to cover oil and gas. Recently, the corporation launched its Ritakaful Window, a Sharia-compliant insurance product that will be guided by a Sharia supervisory board. At Kenya Re, we're not only a reinsurance firm, but we also take great pride in being owners of commercial property. We own buildings like Reinsurance Plaza, Anniversary Towers, Kenya Re Towers in Upper Hill and also commercial property in Kisumu. This year, the company is set to increase its property holdings through an additional high-rise building in Upper Hill.
Kenya Airways continues to open up Africa to the world, connecting more and more African countries every year to Europe, the Middle East and Asia, spurring growth and investment, helping bring prosperity to the continent. Africa is taking off with Kenya Airways.
Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa. Fast, efficient, reliable. Kenya Airways cargo, it's as easy as delivering it yourself. Sticking to our vision to consistently be a safe and profitable airline that guarantees world-class service, we provide cargo connections to over 200 destinations from Middle East, Europe, USA to Africa.
We position ourselves as the pride of Africa, and basically what we are doing is to open up Africa for trade with the world. So the flows are from Europe, from Middle East, from Asia into Africa, and also out of Africa into those specific destinations.
Kenya Airways Cargo offers belly capacity and charter brokerage services mainly to freight forwarding agents, courier companies and postal corporations. We import and export both perishable and non-perishable cargo. Our warehouses are large and well placed to accommodate a myriad of cargo. We have the state-of-the-art equipment for screening and verifying your cargo in the most professional way. Our import process is regimented and our warehouse is also well equipped and staffed in handling your cargo.
When the cargo arrives in the warehouse, we check again the manifest against the documents to ensure that all that is manifested, documents are accompanying the manifest. Then we continue now to check the cargo itself against the manifest to ensure that what is manifested, how many pieces are on the airway bill, as indicated on the airway bill, are actually received in Nairobi.
The export section is equally fast and efficient, ensuring you, our customer, are completely satisfied.
We are one of the leading producers of lubricants in the wider Eastern African region. Our core principle has remained to be the provision of quality lubrication solutions to our esteemed customers. We serve a diverse client base for both motor and industrial applications. Our products have played a significant contribution to the transport industry. This is the La Checa Lubricants Limited. And since we started operations, we have stood on solid principles, embracing technical excellence and brilliance in our operations, making our brand a success story. Well, it is of no doubt that man has completely become dependent on lubricants since the advent of the machine era. Machines have played an integral role in agriculture, construction and transportation industries, therefore demanding high-performance lubricants for lubrication use in gears, shafts and wheels. Sophisticated machines require sophisticated lubes for optimum performance. At La Checa, we produce specifically formulated lubricants whose purpose in these machines are protection of critical components, provision of reliable operations and reduction of maintenance costs, as well as provision of an increased machine life.
It's the life of a disadvantaged girl in society, living in the urban slums of Nairobi, looking forward to a brighter tomorrow, not sure of what tomorrow holds, but hope. Yes, she hopes that tomorrow will bring in her true dream. This is a life depicted by Ruth Atieno, an orphan in Kayole, and Trufina Achando of Mathare slums. Their dream is being realized after enrolling with the Young Entrepreneurs Club in their schools. Young Entrepreneurs Program works with girls aged 14 to 24 and seeks to facilitate girls' entry into safe and productive economic activities. The program is run by TechnoServe, a non-profit-making organization that helps entrepreneurial men and women in developing countries to create businesses that create opportunity and economic growth for their families, community, and counties.
The Young Women in Enterprise intervention actually started off as an offshoot of the business plan competition that we did for the youth in Kenya. Having run that through 2007 and then very well organized aftercare phase in 2008, the Nike Foundation got interested in talking to us about targeting young girls, and basically with the objective of ensuring that we do not wait for the girls to finish their college and schooling and then try and intervene at that point, but really try and capture them while still in school. And so we set off to try and design something, an intervention that we felt would have a perfect fit for the girls, and ultimately started off by doing baseline surveys, understanding the needs of the girls and going out to the local slums and trying to see how best we can intervene and work with them.
Funded by the Nike Foundation, Young Entrepreneurs has been running since 2006 and is currently running entrepreneurial clubs in 20 secondary schools across the wider Nairobi area.
We believe that when you empower the girl, you're empowering the whole family, because we normally say girls care. And if a girl has income, she's not likely to spend that money on her family for food, for health, and for education. And so ultimately what happens is that you really just don't empower the girl, you empower the whole community.
Poverty and unemployment have been on the increase in recent times, particularly in urban areas. With gender-based hurdles, cultural practices, deplorable living conditions, and self-image issues, the girl child stands little or no chance of a happy living. Empowering her provides a multiplier effect in the fight against poverty. In its bid to empower her, Young Entrepreneurs has designed training manuals which focus on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, life skills, and employability.
Living in asylum represents lost opportunities in many ways. Indeed, it can be a living human nightmare, where men, women, and children are thrown asunder for years on end, suffering in silence. Children have been born, grown up, and found themselves marooned and in a state of limbo.
I was recruited as a child soldier when I was having 10 years old. It is really destruction.
Loss of land, and life was to begin from zero.
Wanawake walibakwa, watu wakaunguzwa kwenye moto, watu wakachinjwa. Yani ilikuwa ni mambo kama vile tunaita mkifaransa massacre.
War has made me get back in terms of education. War has affected most of my life.
As the World Refugee Day approached, the UNHCR country office in Kenya held several build-up activities in Kakuma. The activities kicked off with the Peace Caravan, which started with a beautiful rendition of Michael Jackson's song, Heal the World. Together they celebrated this important day in their own special way. The peace torch was lit, and the procession made its way through Kakuma town and onto the UNHCR grounds. On the eve of World Refugee Day, 4 peace forums were held across the camp. The forums brought together the refugees and the Turkana community.
In this forum right now, we are discussing the relationship between peace and livelihoods, those key activities which we do in our communities here in the camp and also elsewhere, what we do to earn a living, the income generating activities, the livelihood activities, even the host communities activities like the way they rear their livestock.
On 20th June, the UNHCR Kenya Country Office joined the world in celebrating the World Refugee Day. It is a day that highlights the resilience, determination, and the courage of men and women who are displaced by conflicts around the world. At the break of dawn, the World Refugee Day began with the peace race, the day's main attraction. Everyone was invited to take part.
In sports, we compete to kill time, but not to kill a person. And at the end of the day, I know he or she is my opponent. So I want to rub shoulder with my opponent so that I learn techniques from him or from her that I will use also to pit against their team.
Octopizzo, one of East Africa's leading hip-hop artists, traveled to Kakuma to witness firsthand what living away from one's home is really like. Music is his passion. He has created several songs that address the issue of peace as a key requirement to human development.
This is the 3rd time I've gone to Kakuma. And the first time I went there, I went just as a performing artist, just the way you get invited to go perform in an event. During that time, I met different artists, and I was so moved. I was so touched by what these kids could do. It's crazy. It's crazy. They need support. They need support, and you can tell from their lyrics they always have a story. And what I like about them most is that they're humble. There's not like I'm talented, like I deserve it. You should give it to me. They're humble. They're ready to listen. They want to be the best. I've been following the World Refugee Day even before this, but all of them used to be in Nairobi. It was to me that was the first thing that I really liked, that they took it to the camp where these guys are there, and they're fresh guys, they're guys that have been there for 10 years, 5. So that was one thing that I really loved. And I really loved that they incorporated all the cultures in the refugee camp. They felt represented, they felt appreciated, because we can dance, we can eat, even if it's not like how we want to eat, but there's freedom.
The Kakuma event was streamed live from the Peace Center to the world. Energetic performances by the young and the not-so-young ruled the day, interspersed by speeches giving hope and support from donors led by the American, British, Japanese, Ugandan, and Senegalese ambassadors.
What we can also do as those responding to refugee situation is to make sure that when refugees will go back to their places of origin, they go back better equipped than when they came. So it's a word of appreciation to the Turkana community and a word of hope to the refugees, to say that we are working very hard, international community, whether it is Kenya or other countries in the region, to make sure that the reasons which have forced them to come here will be dealt with, and they should keep hope and make the best use of the time that they are spending while they are in exile to prepare for for the return and to reconstruct their country when they'll be able to go back, whether they are Somalis, South Sudanese, or from other nationalities.
Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. We are a constitutional body established under Article 59 of the new constitution, charged with the mandate of promoting and protecting human rights in Kenya. To discharge our mandate, we receive complaints of human rights violations, conduct public or civic education, research on various human rights, and advise the government in compliance with its international and domestic human rights obligations. We take pride in our advocacy strength on reforms and accountability, as well as our ability to provide redress to victims of human rights violations.
The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is a constitutional commission established under Article 59 of our Constitution and the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights Act of 2011. And its main role is really the promotion and protection of human rights in the Republic of Kenya. And for this purpose, therefore, we have both a watchdog role, which means that we monitor the observance of human rights, and then also we have an advisory role, which means that we advise various organs, government ministries, and even private and corporate citizens in matters concerning human rights.
In September 2009, the Federation of Women Lawyers in Kenya and the Center for Reproductive Rights filed a complaint with the National Commission on Human Rights, citing various sexual and reproductive health rights violations in Kenya. The complaint was focused mainly on the Pumwani Maternity Hospital, and it led the Commission to institute an inquiry that would encompass other health institutions and practitioners in order to give a comprehensive report on sexual and reproductive health rights.
We decided to take a corruption of the country, to go around and have first-hand information from the people who had suffered violations. Which violations then, of course, we go to document in a report which we're just about to release.
To set the scope of the inquiry, pre-hearing sessions were held in February and March 2011, which served as precursors to the actual inquiry, which started in June of the same year. The inquiry was carried out in various towns in Kenya, including Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Kitale, Garissa, and Embu.
These regions were based on considerations like the availability of healthcare institutions, what we call the epidemiology studies, where the prevalence of diseases and such issues which we got from the Ministry of Health. So from there we were able to define the country roughly into regions which had similar issues. So we went here, we interviewed people. Basically we were looking at people as people who access or look for sexual and reproductive health services from the hospitals. We talk to people to hear from them what challenges they face.
On the beautiful black color that covers Africa lies a visible light that shines academic, an institution that has stood the test of time to become what it is today. This is KCA University, a leading business university of choice. A new idea is delicate, and it can be killed by anything if not nurtured or put into action to bear great fruit. These are great words that can be echoed by Mr. Muchekehu, who shared his idea with a team that he believed would be dedicated and see it grow.
we realized that the country wasn't going to go very far unless there was enough qualified people to be able to run the economy. And this is how the idea started.
I was a council member from 1984 to 1990. And during that time, we commissioned a study which was supported by government and the British government to study the number of accountants that were being produced for the economy. And we decided that it was need to start a college of our own, supported by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya.
ISPAC was challenged and were told, you have a responsibility to develop this profession. You have a responsibility to grow this profession. The gap that has been identified is lack of a training institution. Why don't you as ISPAC take up that challenge and develop a training institution that is able to offer good quality, high quality training, but at affordable rates, and that can reach out to as many Kenyans as possible. The Institute took up the challenge and established KCA.
The reality of the idea, the dream and the board action came to be in 1983 when the Kenya College of Accountancy acquired space in Westlands Arcade.
The university began in 1989 and it started from a very small outfit in Westland and moved to the stage where it came in 2010.
Due to the high demand of quality training in accountancy, there was need to expand the college, thus the move to Paramount Plaza in the 90s.
Westland became too small. Then we moved again to Paramount. We could not, as the number of students or the population of students was growing, then we saw now the need to, where do we take our students? And that's possibly what propelled us getting a home.
The thirst for higher education in this profession was more than the board expected, and they found themselves with no choice other than to take in more students in accounting. The market needed more of the Kenya College of Accountancy graduates in the organizations. To this end, Dr. Martin Odorotieno stepped in with another move.
The two people spearheaded the purchasing of CPA Center, Jomo Chekeo and Martin Odorotieno. Jomo Chekeo was the chairman of the board. Martin was the chairman of the Institute Council. We, the executive, were playing a role of supporting the ideas.
Vegetation forms the center of human and animal existence. Constitutionally, 10% of the country's total size must be forested. In Kenya, the Mau complex is the largest forest ecosystem. Estimated to be covering over 273,300 hectares of land and divided into 22 blocks, the Mau complex is the largest water catchment area in Kenya, with rivers like the Mara, Sondu and Ewaso Nyiro originating from it. These rivers feed several lakes including the Lake Nakuru, Lake Victoria, Lake Naivasha and the Lake Natron in Tanzania. Over time, this natural ecosystem has faced extinction due to the effects mainly caused by human activity and settlement, factors attributed to shortage of land. Gatherer communities that depended on the forest for their livelihood began settling, clearing parts of the forest for farming. Soon, they were joined by others and larger portions were excised and left bare by the slash and burn activities to pave way for farmland. The results are evident: devastating effects to the ecosystem and a negative impact not only to those living around the forest but the country at large. To reverse the trend, 5 organizations came together to rally Kenyans to restore the catchment through a clarion called Save the Mau, Turn Over a New Leaf. A fund, Save the Mau Trust, was established to pool resources necessary to rehabilitate the already depleted Mau forest.
The biggest challenge facing the world today, not just Kenya, is the environment.
In the event of a drought, you need a very huge sponge to hold the water.
And the tragedy is there's nothing any longer to hold that water.
This is a big issue. From Turkana to Natron to Victoria to Nakuru, all of us are dependent on it. It's that complex and hold literally the life of most of the East African states.
So this campaign, therefore, is asking Kenyans, please, for the sake of the generations to come, let us do it.
The phenomenon called global warming, which scientists first started talking about loudly in the 1980s and is a result of the depletion of the ozone layer, is now manifesting itself. The ice caps in the northern hemisphere are melting, leading to rising levels of water in the oceans. Temperatures are becoming high, making it unsuitable for the production of certain crops which require moderate temperatures. Faced with this problem, government, through its research centres such as the Chitedze Research Centre and in collaboration with the International Centre for Research in Semi-Arid Africa, have been researching on crops that can withstand the effects of climate change. The crops include pigeon peas, which traditionally are grown in the southern part of Malawi. Here, the southeasterly wind known as Chiperoni used to bring rain showers which aided flowering and maturation of the traditional varieties.
There's climate change, and as researchers, we can't just sit idle. So as a Department of Research, what we have done is we've done a lot of research on pigeon peas, and came up with the pigeon pea varieties that take about 6 months to maturity. Now, with this climate change, the focus has been to develop pigeon pea varieties that will take reasonable time to reach maturity. And we have developed, or we have come up with the two, what we call medium duration pigeon pea varieties. They only take 6 months to maturity.
Aikisonati pasambewu ya mwai watu imene macha madera kuno kwatu kukalonga imacha mwansanga limeti naona kuti tazala tinazala mwezi wa January, February, March, April, May, June yatani yacha ndipameti naze kuti tipemphe mbewu imene ngache kuno kwatu kumpoto imene mvula imativutira.
This work is also being done with the understanding that traditionally tobacco has been considered the main cash crop for Malawi, grown both by commercial farmers and small-scale producers.